Page 272. Appendix 4. Extracts of speeches in Parliament critical of the emergency. Though the press was under censorship during emergency, MPs of the opposition parties used the floor of the House to express their views on the existing political situation. Para. Mohan Dharia was a member of the Lok Sabha elected on Congress R ticket in 1971. He was a Minister of State in Indira Gandhi's government from 1971 to 1974, but was later suspended from the party. Dharia was detained under MISA in December 1975 and became Minister of Commerce 1977 to 1979 in the Morarji Desai government. On 22 July 1975, Dharia said in his Lok Sabha speech, "Sir, the 26th day of June 1975, the day when the emergency was declared, when my colleagues, several political workers and leaders were barbarously put behind bars, when the freedom of press and civil liberties were surrendered to the bureaucrats, that day will be treated as the blackest day in Indian democracy and in the history of our country." Para. I would at the outset like to condemn this monstrous operation. I have no doubt that it is the Prime Minister and a few of her colleagues who are responsible for it. I am not charging the whole cabinet. Open bracket, Dharia was an ardent follower of Y.B. Chavan, a senior member of Indira Gandhi's cabinet. Close bracket. Because I know that even the cabinet was not told about it till after the operation was already initiated. Para. A systematic propaganda is being carried on that it is because of the opposition parties, it is because of the right reactionary forces, it is because of the extremists that the economic program could not be implemented. Is it true? Para. I know things from close quarters. In 1969 in Bangalore, my amendment was supported by 170 members of the AICC, an amendment to nationalize the banks. It was not done. But no sooner was the political life of the Prime Minister was at stake than the banks were nationalized. The party welcomed it. The party did not split on programs. The party split for personalities. But even then, we welcomed it because we felt that it would accelerate the whole process of the politics of commitment. Unfortunately, it did not happen. After the massive mandate, nobody prevented us from implementing that. It is we who faltered. Let me be allowed to say that when I look at the 21-point program, I repeat, when I look at the open inverted comma, 21-point program, close inverted comma, the basic decisions are not there. All these programs could have been implemented without declaration of emergency. To say that an emergency was necessary is a blatant lie. If I may be allowed to use that word, no other word could be found fit for it. Para. On 21st July 1975, Krishan Kant, another Congress member of the upper house of the Parliament, who was subsequently expelled from the party, had observed on the floor of the Rajya Sabha. I repeat, it is very difficult to associate my Congress colleagues Chandrasekhar and Ramdhan with rightist conspiracy. Chandrasekhar had remained radical and leftist and a fighter for the poor. However, these two friends can turn overnight right reaction. I repeat. However, these two friends can turn overnight right reactionary conspirators. I have always been a Congress socialist who believes that socialism in India has to be brought about by application of Gandhian principles. Nobody stopped the Congress party from carrying out radical restructuring of the economy of the country and taking the measures to eradicate poverty. Page 274. The rightists outside the Congress were too weak to stop us from carrying out the program. It is certain forces in the party which were too strong to allow us to implement them. Today, unfortunately, it is not the obstructionist forces who have been arrested, but Chandrasekhar and Ramdhan. Chandrasekhar's leftism and nationalism is, open bracket, Sikh, close bracket, too visible to be recounted here. Ramdhan, a leader of the weaker sections, has been fighting for the causes of the downtrodden and poor. What prevented the Congress and the government to follow up the bank nationalization and election manifestos of 1971 and 1972 with vigorous measures? Which opposition obstructed the Prime Minister and the government in 1971, 72, 73, and early months of 74? Even though we had the biggest majority, yet we did not have the will to act and implement radical measures. Besides passing some legislations on paper and making some amendments to the Constitution, what have we done? Para. I would like to ask who amongst the Congress leaders have been punished for sabotaging the Congress program during the last 5 years? Only Krishnakant, Chandrasekhar, Mohan Dharia, and Ramdhan. Their only crime known to the people in the country was their total commitment to the continuous insistence upon implementing party programs and policies both in letter and spirit. If we agitated against malpractices and corruption, it was in the high tradition of the Congress. Today, who are the supporters and enthusiasts of the 20-point program? Read the censored newspapers. The daily retinue of the Prime Minister's house will show that the saboteurs of the Congress economic program are now the enthusiastic supporters of the emergency. Para. Those who have been profited by inflation and the sabotage of government policies have turned overnight into loud-mouthed supporters of the 20-point program. Let me warn you against such time servers who are supporting her programs as the noose supporters of the persons to be hanged. Para. Bereft of ideology, this nation is drifting towards a personality cult, into slogan shouting, mimicry, and into total immobilization. Cabinet colleagues have not been taken into confidence. Senior partymen who have spent their lifetime in the party are not with us today. The men dedicated to the values of Gandhi, Nehru, and socialism have been put under arrest. In this situation, who is going to implement the 20-point program?